Good morning, everybody. Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Pilates. When we're ready, we're going to begin standing at the back of our mats. We can bring our ankles together, bring our toes together. We'll take a little turn out of our toes, drawing them towards the upper corners of the mat, and then letting your heels follow so our feet are about stacked underneath our hips here. We're going to build our alignment up our bodies, beginning by taking a little bend through the knees. And we're going to squeeze up through those glutes, bracing through our core, pulling that belly button back towards our spine, thinking about knitting our ribs together. From here, we'll take a couple of rolls of our shoulders. And on that last little roll through our shoulders, let's keep those shoulders shut back and behind our ears. From here, we'll take this alignment into our warm-up by hinging through the hips, sending our glutes to the back of the room. Fingertips are going to travel away, down our shins and away from our center point. On our inhale, we'll work those hands up to about mid-thigh. Big exhale on the way down, drawing those fingertips away from our center point. We're just going to take a couple flows here, saying good morning to our posterior chain, saying good morning to our hamstrings, to our glutes, and to our low back. Every time that we come up on that inhale, we want to keep that back nice and fat, squeezing through those glutes, exhaling it down, drawing those fingertips just a little bit further away each time. Let's get 2 more breaths here. Beautiful work. And last one. Next time we send those fingertips down and away, can we send them just a little bit further than they've gone so far? From here, we'll inhale into our circle sweep, leading with our heart. Send those fingertips up towards the sky. Nice big exhale here. We'll hinge at those hips and those glutes to the back of the room. Hands are going to come on down to make a little tent on the mat. From here, we can inhale to open up the left fingertips up towards the sky, drawing our palms up towards the opposite side of the room. Nice big exhale to sweep it down. We'll replace those hands onto the mat. Come into that right hand side. Inhale to lift up through those arms. Open up through our chest. Big exhale to sweep it down. Let's get one more each side. Big inhale through that left side. Exhale to sweep it down. One more. Beautiful work. Next time we replant those right hands on down to the earth, I want you to meet me here. We're going to keep those hands in a little tent on down on the mat. Maybe we could take a lift through that left heel, drawing our left knee on up towards our chest. We'll lower on down through that heel, draw it over to the right hand side. We'll just alternate through these heel lifts here, marching out those legs. This is a really great one to take at the pacing of your own body. Check in with yourself. Where are you holding tension today? If it's not feeling great to have those hands all the way down on the mat, we can work our hands on up to our thighs and continue to march out from here. And we're here for 5. When we're ready, let's come on back to stillness together. Lowering both heels back on down to the earth. We'll inhale into our circle sweep, leading with our heart. Send those fingertips up towards the sky. Nice big exhale here. We'll hinge at those hips. Send those glutes to the back of the room. Hands will come back on down to the mat. From here, we'll let our hands find our elbows. And we're going to let the crown of our head hang down heavy. We can take a little bit of a deeper bend through our knees, letting the crown of our head hang on down towards the earth. Let's just let gravity take control here. Upper body's going on vacation. We can start a little swivel in our hips, just moving side to side. And here for 5. Beautiful work. Let's come on back through stillness together. We'll inhale into our circle sweep, leading with our heart. Send those fingertips up towards the sky. Nice big exhale here. We'll hinge at those hips and those glutes to the back of the room. Hands will come on down to the mat. Let's walk those hands up towards the tippy top of our mat, and we're going to come into our plank position here. So option here to stay in our full plank, or option to join me down in our kneeling plank. Either way, let's brace through our core. Pull that belly button up towards our spine. We'll take a bend of those elbows, drawing our chest down slowly towards the mat. Defy gravity all the way down. Work through those triceps. Beautiful work. Once we're down here, we're going to press it on up into our 4-point position. Hands will stack underneath shoulders. Knees will stack underneath hips here. And we're going to draw some attention to those deep core muscles by tucking through our toes and using our core to lift those knees up off the mat, coming into a little hover here. Just find that hover, holding those knees floating. Use that core to hold this hover. When we're ready, we'll press those hips up into our downward dog, piking our hips towards the ceiling. You can keep a little lift through our heels as we enter our first downward dog of today. We'll reset by bringing those feet about hip distance apart, pressing our palms into the earth. And if it's in our practice, maybe we want to walk that downward dog out, bending the knees in towards the chest. Just walking those legs out, keeping those seat bones high. And here for 5. Beautiful work. When we're ready, let's come on back to stillness together. We'll let those heels press just a little bit closer down towards the mat. From here, let's take a slow sweep of that left leg, drawing our left heels up towards the ceiling. See if you can send those heels just a little taller. Can we square our pinky toes down with the earth? Can you lift that heel just a tiny bit higher? From here, we'll take a bend of that top leg, drawing our heels over our glutes, opening up those hips to the side of the room. Can you send those knees a little taller? Beautiful work. We're finding some stability, feeling that strength through our whole spine. Nice big inhale. Let's extend through that leg again. Point through those toes. Big exhale. We'll step that foot forward to be framed by our hands, coming into our low lunge here. Keeping that back knee floating. We're going to find our world's greatest stretch by inhaling to open up. Same arm towards same inner thigh. Send those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Nice big exhale. We'll sweep those hands on down to the earth. Big inhale to open right back up through our heart. And big exhale to plant those hands back down to the sides of our feet. Once we're here, we'll bring those hands back to the sides of our feet, and we can hop or step that back foot forward to meet our front at the tippy top of the mat. We'll come into our halfway fold first here. Inhaling as we shine our chest forward. Back's going to stay nice and flat. Big exhale on the way down. Inhale into that full circle sweep, leading with our heart. Send those fingertips up towards the sky. Nice big exhale here. We'll hinge at those hips, send those glutes to the back of the room. Hands stacking to the sides of our feet. Option here to hop or step those feet back behind us, finding that plank position. Once we're back here in this plank position, option to stay in that kneeling plank or option to join me in our full plank. Either way, let's brace through our core. Pull that belly button up towards our spine. Elbows bending in towards our side. Crocodile arms down. Defy that gravity down. Work through those triceps. Beautiful work. Once we're down here, we'll press back into that 4-point position. Hands stacking underneath shoulders, knees stacking underneath hips. We'll take a little tuck through the toes. Once again, we're going to use that core. Lift those knees up off the ground. Find that little hover. When we're ready, let's pike those hips up into the air, coming into our downward dog once again. We can maybe let those heels sink just a little lower to the ground. Pressing those palms into the earth. Seat bones are going high. Beautiful work. Let's walk out this downward dog once again. And maybe if it's in your practice, you want to draw opposite knee towards opposite elbow. Just adding a little bit of rotation to this movement. And here for 5. Keep those seat bones high. When we're ready, let's come on back to stillness together. We're going to take a slow sweep of that right leg this time, drawing those right heels on up towards the ceiling. Can you press those heels just a little taller? Square those pinky toes down with the earth. Beautiful work. If we want a little more, let's take a bend of that top leg, drawing our heels over our glutes, opening up those hips to the side of the room. See if you can send those knees a little taller. Big inhale, let's extend through those legs, point through those toes. Big exhale, we'll step that foot forward to be framed by our hands, coming into our low lunge here. Once we're in this low lunge, we'll come into our world's greatest stretch by inhaling to open up, same arm towards same inner thigh, send those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Nice big exhale, we'll lower those hands on down to the earth. Nice big inhale to open it right back up to the sky. And big exhale to float it down. Beautiful work. We'll bring those hands to the sides of our feet, and we can hop or step that back foot forward to meet our front at the tippy top of the mat. We'll come into our halfway fold once again, inhaling as we shine our chest forward. Back's going to stay nice and flat. Big exhale on the way down. Inhale into that full circle sweep, leading with our heart. Send those fingertips up towards the sky. Let's find a little good morning stretch here. Maybe a little side bend, maybe a little twist. However you want to say good morning to our bodies today. And then once we're up here, we're going to inhale to send those fingertips up towards the sky. We're going to roll out our wrists. We're going to give our wrists some love. They do such hard work for us every single day. Let's give them some love with a little bit of a roll out here. And then nice big inhale. We can send them right back up to the sky. Let's reverse the direction of those wrist rolls. All right, and that's going to wrap up our warm-up for today, so we can grab some water. Then we're headed down to the mat for our first track of today. So we'll come on down to our seated position, and we're going to set those Pilates balls down towards the bottom of our mat. There you are. We're ready. We'll bring our hands to the nooks of our knees, gently lower ourselves on down to the earth. We're going to press that low back into the mat. We're going to come into our imprinted spine roll position here. So you want to think about almost like leaving the mark of our spine in the mat. From here, we'll set our ankles on top of our Pilates ball here, sending it down to the bottom of our mat. From here, we can bring both of our hands back behind our head. It's going to give us a little bit of stability through our neck. And when we're ready, we can inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift up into our chest lift, drawing our nose towards our toes. Inhale to release it back. Beautiful work. So we're going to start here. Exhaling it up, drawing our nose towards our toes, peeling our shoulder blades up off the mat. Inhaling to release it back. Every time that we're exhaling up, I want you to think about closing that distance between our ribs and our hips. Beautiful work. We're starting here. This is a really great one to pace with your breath work. Exhale it up. Inhale to release. I want you to keep our elbows open. We're keeping our chest nice and open as we're breathing through this. We're here for 5. See if you can peel those shoulder blades up just a little bit higher. Beautiful work. Let's take 3 more here. And last 2. Beautiful work. Next time we come up into that exhale to chest lift, can you meet me here? Next time we exhale up into this chest lift, we're going to leave that left leg pressing into the mat ball. We're going to march the opposite leg up into our tabletop position. Extend it long, replace it onto that ball. Inhale to release it down. So we're exhaling up, marching one leg up into tabletop at a time, extending it down nice and slow, replacing it onto that Pilates ball. Beautiful work. As we're doing this, we're extending those legs long, taking that movement slow and controlled, like we're moving through molasses, moving through honey, moving through slime, whatever image works for you. I want you to hold that chest lift high. Beautiful work. We are here for 5. Exhale it up. We're keeping our chest nice and open. Leave those elbows sent to the sides of the room. You are killing it. We are here for 4. Take this slow and controlled. Brace through that core. Let's take it here for 3. Beautiful work. You are killing it. And last one. Beautiful work. Next time we exhale up into this chest lift, can you meet me here? We are going to exhale up into our chest lift, just drawing our nose towards our toes, and let's pull that Pilates ball in towards our center. Inhale to release it away. Lower back down through our head. Beautiful work. So we're exhaling up into that chest lift, nose towards our toes. Pull that Pilates ball in towards our center. Release it back away from us. Lower back down to the mat. Beautiful work. Take this slow and controlled. We're inhaling to send that ball away from our center point. Exhaling as we pull it in. Beautiful work. You are killing it. Let's stay here for 3. Make sure we're peeling those shoulder blades all the way up off the mat. Last 2. And last one. Next time we exhale up into this top point, can you meet me here? We're gonna pull that Pilates ball in towards our center. Let's shift it on over to our right foot. We're gonna extend that left leg long. I want you to hold a chest lift here. From here we can inhale to lift through this left leg. Exhale to lower it down nice and slow. Beautiful work. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. You are killing it. Work that core. Here for 5. Take that chest lift a little higher if we can. Here for 3. Can you meet me at our top point here in 2? Beautiful work. Last one. Next time we come on up to this top point, can you meet me here? We're going to draw some circles with our toes. Keep those legs lifted. If you don't want to draw circles, you can draw like a heart. You can draw a Disney signal. What, Disney sign? What is it? The Mickey Mouse head. You guys know what I'm talking about. Here for 3. And last one, I want you to take those legs low. You're not going to lower them all the way down yet. We're going to pulse it out here. Draw those toes on down to the bottom of the mat. Here for 5. We're going to go right into our opposite side here in 3. And 2. And 1. Beautiful work. Let's switch sides. We're going to extend the opposite leg. Begin with those lift and lowers. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Keep our chest lifted here. Here for 5. Here for 3. Meet me at our top point here in 2. You are killing it. Take it to that top point on this next one. Once again, we're going to find those circles, find those hearts. Beautiful work. We're here for 3. And last one, you're going to take those legs low, pulse it out here. Toes to the bottom of the mat. Here for 5. And 3. And 2. And 1. Beautiful work. You killed it. We're going to stay down on the mat here for just a second. We can take those Pilates balls, set them off to the side. We can draw those feet out to the edges of our mat. We're going to give our core some love here by just windshield wipering those knees to the edges of our mat. Let's give our core just a little bit of love. Thank you for working so hard. You killed it. All right. From here, we can bring our hands to the nooks of our knees, and we're going to rock and roll on up. We'll draw those knees to the sides of our bodies, and then we're going to turn to find our tabletop position. As we're headed over this way, maybe you want to roll out those wrists a little bit more. And we'll come into our 4-point position here. So hands will stack underneath shoulders, knees will stack underneath hips. We're going to press those first knuckles into the mat, and that's going to help relieve a lot of that strain on our wrists. From here, I want you to extend those left legs back behind us, pointing through our toes. We're going to begin here by inhaling to lift through this leg, bringing it up parallel with our hips. Exhaling to lower it down nice and slow. Let's start it here. Beautiful work. We're just taking this slow and controlled, moving through honey, moving through molasses, moving through slime. We're going to play around with foot flexion here in 3. As we're doing this, I really want you to think about keeping our torso nice and stable. So imagine you have your favorite drink. We come and set it right on top of your tailbone. Could you keep it nice and stable without spilling a single drop? And last one. Next time we come on up to this top point, can you meet me here? We're going to take a flex through our foot, drawing our heels to the back of the room. And then tap those toes on down. Keep that foot flexed as we lift and lower here. See how that changes that movement just a little bit. Changes our engagement. Beautiful work. Can you meet me at our top point here in 4? Beautiful work. Last 2. Next time you come up to this top point, can you meet me here? I want you to keep that flex in our foot. From here, we're gonna drive that knee down to our starting point. Keep that foot flexed. Press it back up to the sky. Beautiful work, like we're trying to leave our footprint on the ceiling. Press that foot into the sky. Heels to the ceiling. You are killing it. Squeeze through those glutes at that top point. Keep our torso nice and stable. Check in with our favorite drink sitting on top of our tailbone. Check in with our core here. Beautiful work. We're here for 4. And 3. Can you meet me at that top point? And last 2. You are killing it. Next time we drive that heel up to the ceiling, I want you to meet me here in that 90-90. From here, we're just gonna pulse our heels up towards the ceiling. Leave that footprint on the ceiling. Keep those knees floating. Little movements through our knee. Little tiny pulses. You're gonna hold lifted here in 5. And 3. And 2. When we're ready, keep those knees lifted. We're gonna kick ourselves in the glutes here. Draw those heels towards our glutes. Keep those knees lifted, like we're trying to kick ourselves in the butt. Here for 5. And 3. Keep those knees lifted here in 1. Beautiful work. From here, I want you to send those heels back up to the ceiling. From here, we're gonna exhale. Pull our nose and our knees together. Inhale, drive that heel to the sky. Exhale, knees to nose. Inhale, draw that heel to the ceiling. Beautiful work. We're almost done. Work through those glutes. We're gonna pulse it out here in 4. Knees to nose. Inhale it up. Beautiful work. Last one. Draw those heels to the sky. We're going to pulse it out here. Heels to the ceiling. Little tiny movements. 5. And 3. And 2. And 1. Beautiful work. Shake out those legs. You absolutely killed it. Love what I'm seeing. Roll out those wrists. All right, let's grab some water. Then we're gonna give our arms some love. So when we're ready, we'll come on up to our kneeling position. We're gonna take a little hinge through our hips to begin with here. So just lowering those glutes a little bit over our heels. We're gonna begin by bringing those elbows in towards our waist. We're gonna begin with some hammer curls here. So we're gonna draw those weights up towards our shoulders. Lower them down nice and slow. Moving through molasses, moving through honey, moving through slime. If you have a better image of something slow you wanna move through, maybe you're moving through snow, maybe moving through water. My sister is adamant that she's moving through those aqua beads from like early 2000s. I feel like, I don't even know if that would be like slow. I feel like that would honestly speed me up. You're getting like some aqua bead friction. All right, here for 5. Here for 3. Beautiful work. Next time we come on down to this bottom point, can you meet me here? We're gonna flatten out through our palms. Next time we draw those weights up to our shoulders, we're gonna lower those glutes on down to our heels. We're gonna press it up, sink those weights down. Here's our flow. Weights to the shoulders, lower those glutes down. Release them down to the sides of our thighs. Beautiful work. We're gonna start it here. Keep those elbows close in towards our center. Here for 5. Let's take it here for 3. Every time we lower those glutes down, we're not letting them rest all the way down on our heels. We're keeping ourselves lifted. Beautiful work. Next time we come on up to this top point, can you meet me here? From here, we're going to take a lift. Draw those weights to the front of us. Pull those elbows back in. Lower them to our sides. Beautiful work. We're going to alternate here. Draw them out to the front. Draw them to our sides. Beautiful work. Oh, I definitely messed up that flow. Hang on. We're going to take that hinge through our hips. Bringing those weights to our shoulders. Press it out to the front. Take that hinge back through our hips. Beautiful work. That's much better. Okay. Here for 5. Draw those weights in towards our waist. You are killing it. Here for 3. And last one. Next time we draw those weights out to the side, I want you to take a sweep of those palms. We're going to draw them up to our shoulders. Find those shoulder presses. Up to the sky, 90-90s. Find those cactus arms. Beautiful work. We're drawing down to our cactus arms, drawing down to those 90-90s. Every time that we pull down to these 90-90s, you want to think about squeezing those shoulder blades together. Imagine you've got like a pencil you're holding in between your shoulder blades. Squeeze it there, hold it there. That's your only pencil. Here for 5. Beautiful work. Let's take 3 more here. Next time we come on down to this bottom point, can you meet me here? From here, we're going to extend those arms out to the sides. Find our T position. Back to those 90-90s. It's a little cramped in the room today. Sorry, folks. Here for 5. Beautiful work. Keep those elbows floating. Here for 3. Last one. Next time we draw out to those T positions, can you meet me here? We're going to flip those palms to the ground. Flip them back up to the sky. Little tiny flips. Beautiful work. Little movements. Here for 5. Here for 3. And last one. Beautiful work. Flip those palms to the ground. Lower them down to our sides. Beautiful work. Shake out those shoulders. Lose those weights. You killed it. All right, we're headed back on down to the mat for our opposite leg now. So we're going to come back into that 4-point position. Hands will stack underneath shoulders. Knees will stack underneath hips. We're going to extend through that opposite leg. So once again, we're going to begin by bracing through our core here. Pull that belly button up towards the sky. Imagine we're holding our favorite drink right on top of our tailbone. We're going to inhale to lift through this leg. Exhale to lower it down nice and slow. We're starting it here. We can point through those toes. And last 3. Let's add that foot flexion here in 2. Next time we lift it up to this top point, we're going to flex through that foot, drawing our heel to the back of the room. Tap those toes on down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. You are killing it. Take this slow and controlled. Check in with our back. Whatever you have sitting on top of your tailbone. Maybe it's a milkshake. Maybe it's a frappuccino. Maybe it's a lemonade. Maybe it's a mojito. Not going to judge. Whatever's resting on top of our tailbone. Let's keep it there. And here for 4. Beautiful work. Last 2. Next time we come on up to this top point, can you meet me here? We're going to take that sweep of the knee, drawing it back to our starting point. Press those heels up to the sky. Keeping our torso nice and stable. You are killing it. Heels to the ceiling. Leave those footprints on the sky. Here for 5. Squeeze those glutes at our top point. We're here for 3. Meet me at our top point here in 2. And last one. Next time we come on up to this top point, can you meet me here? Little pulses, draw those heels to the ceiling. Little tiny movements, we're just up and down an inch here. Beautiful work. Our stabilizing muscles might be complaining. Here for 5. We're gonna kick ourselves in the glutes here in 3. And last one. From here, keep those knees floating, kick ourselves in the booty. Drawing those heels towards our glutes like we're trying to kick ourselves in the butt. You are killing it. Keep those knees floating. Here for 5. 4 more little kicks. 3. When we're ready, we're gonna draw those heels back up to the sky. We're gonna take those full sweeps, drawing our knees and our nose together. Inhale, heels back to the sky. Exhale, knees to our nose. Beautiful work, full movement. I really invite you to take those full audible breaths here. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Beautiful work. We're here for 5. We're going to pulse it out in 4. Last 3. Beautiful work. Last one. Next time we draw those heels to the sky, I want you to pulse it out here. Heels to the sky. Little tiny movements. You are so close. Here for 5. And 3. And 2. And 1. Take it down. Beautiful work. You absolutely killed it. Shake out those shoulders. Roll out those wrists. Let's get into our back a little bit before we wrap out for today. So we'll come on to our bellies on the mat here. And we're going to keep that Pilates ball just somewhere a little bit above our belly button here. You might have to play with the positioning just a little bit. But the goal is to come down to our lying position. We'll send each of our feet to the edges of our mat. I want you to think about a sphinx position here. So like, like an Egyptian sphinx. Drawing our hands out to the sides. When we're ready, we're going to exhale to come up into our chest lift, drawing those shoulders parallel, or drawing our elbows parallel with our shoulders. From here, we're going to extend those arms out in front of us. Exhale to pull back to those 90-90s. Taking that chest lift just a little higher here. Beautiful work. We're mostly hitting shoulders here for 5. Beautiful work. You are killing it. We're going to get into our back here in 3. Beautiful work. Last 2. Keep that chest shining proud. Last one. Next time we pull those elbows down, we're going to draw them all the way down to our waist. We're going to draw those hands back out in front of us. Elbows into the waist. This is going to get into our back now. Beautiful work. Keep our chest shining proud. Here for 5. Elbows pulling all the way into the waist. Think about your Superman here. Beautiful work. Here for 3. And 2, you're going to send those hands out in front of us. Last one. Beautiful work. Send those hands out in front of us. We're going to paddle our hands out here. Little tiny movements. Beautiful work. Here for 5. And 3. Keep those arms out in 2. Last one, we're taking those sweeps. Draw those palms towards our glutes. Inhale, draw back out in front of us. Big sweep through the shoulders here. This is our last part. Beautiful work. Here for 3. Last two. And last one, beautiful work. Let's draw those hands back into the sides. We'll come back into our Sphinx. We can lose that Pilates ball. You killed it, you absolutely demolished it. There's a little backtrack. We can roll out those shoulders, shake out those wrists. All right, so we do have time for another little tiny core track if anybody wants it, or we can head right into our cool down. What are we feeling today? A little more core, a little more warm up down, cool down? What are we feeling? Little core? All right, we'll take the Pilates ball for this one. We're gonna come back into our 4-point position. And we're gonna really focus on those deep core abdominal muscles. So we're gonna bring that Pilates ball, bring it in between our thighs here. And you have 2 options for our feet. So if you really wanna make sure that you're hitting that deep core, you can keep your feet flat and you'll just leave your toes pressing into the mat like this. If that doesn't feel great on our feet, we can take a little curl through our toes. So 2 options there. From there, we're going to use our core, lift those knees up off the mat, come into our hover. Hold that hover for 5. And then lower it back down. We're gonna start here. We're just gonna practice these taps, lifting our knees up off the mat, holding that hover, and tapping it right back down. Beautiful work. We're starting here. You are killing it. Let's take 3 more little lifts. Last 2. And last one. Next time you lift those knees up off the ground, I want you to meet me here. We're gonna pulse in on that Pilates ball, squeezing that Pilates ball in like we're trying to pop the Pilates ball. Here for 4. When we're ready, let's lower that Pilates ball down. Let's get it one more time here. Taking that lift, squeeze in on the Pilates ball like we're trying to pop it. When we're ready, let's lower that Pilates ball right back down. Beautiful work. From here, we'll once again take that lift. From here, I want you to draw those Pilates balls over to our left-hand side, back through center. Tap those knees down. Take that lift over to our right-hand side. Beautiful work. Anytime when we're doing this movement, you want to think about like being like a wet towel at the beach. You're going to wring yourself out here. So we're wringing ourselves out to the side. Beautiful work. Drawing those knees to the sides. You are killing it. And last 2. And last one. Beautiful work. From here, let's draw those knees back on down. We can lose those Pilates balls, and we're headed into our cool down. Just a little bit of deep core for us, finish out. Then we're gonna grab some water, head on down. We're gonna send each of our limbs to a corner of the mat. So when we send each of our limbs to a corner of the mat here, you can find a different kind of good morning stretch. Imagine you're just waking up in your warm, comfy, cozy bed. We'll take a big stretch, drawing our fingertips and toes towards opposite sides of the room. And we'll just take a couple breaths here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. From here, let's draw our thumbs on down to the earth, pinkies to the sky. When we're ready, we'll exhale, drawing our pinkies towards our thighs. Inhale to draw the thumbs back behind our head. We can find a little shaka with our hands here, sending some good vibes. Pinkies towards our thighs, thumbs to the ground. We'll just take a couple sweeps here. Anytime that we're pacing to breath work, you can kind of think about as we exhale, we're getting smaller, we're closing that distance. Anytime that we inhale, we're drawing something into ourselves, getting larger. Beautiful work. Let's take 2 more sweeps here. Next time we draw those pinkies towards our thighs, can you meet me here? Beautiful work. From here, let's draw our left knee in towards our heart, tugging it in towards our chest. We'll use our hands, guide that knee in some little circles. You can let those circles get just a little bit larger as we go. Nice big inhale. Let's send that leg away from our center point. We'll exhale to pull the opposite knee in towards our chest. Using our hands, once again guiding that knee in some little circles. Nice big inhale. Let's draw that leg away from our center point. We'll exhale to pull both knees in towards our heart. Using our core here, we'll just give ourselves a little massage to the back against the mat. Rolling side to side, up and down. Roll out those hips, roll out those shoulders. Where are you holding tension today? If you ever played like rotten egg on a trampoline as a kid, evoke your inner rotten egg, roll it up and down, side to side. When we're ready, let's work those hands to the bases of our feet. We'll draw our heels up to the sky, knees come to the sides of our body, and from here we can just, maybe we want to pedal out those legs a little bit. Maybe our happy baby wants to rock up and down, side to side. So we can find our inner happy baby in this yoga pose today. I think this is a really great time to remind ourselves that we should bring joy into our practice. Our relationship with our physical health should be this combination of friendship. And in any good friendship, in addition to that part of your friendship where they're taking care of you and telling you those hard truths, there's also going to be that fun part. Bring some joy back into our practice here. When we're ready, we'll work those hands to the bases of our knees and rock and roll all the way on up, drawing our knees to the sides of our bodies before we try to find our 4-point position. Here in our 4-point position, hands will stack underneath shoulders, knees will stack underneath hips. We're going to come into a little bit of a freedom of flow here in between our cat and cow, so we can exhale to arch through our back, tuck through our pelvis. Take a look at our knees. Inhale as we drop our belly buttons on down to the earth. Take a look up at the sky. So we'll just flow in between these two movements. And this is a really great one to practice those audible breaths on. As we invite breath work into our practice, we let ourselves take these stretches just a little bit deeper, deepen that mind-muscle connection. As we inhale, we're taking in that energy. And as we exhale, we dispel all that does not serve us in our practice, in our day. Beautiful work. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And last breath here. When we're ready, let's return back to neutral spine, halfway between our cat and cow. From here, let's draw that left hand up towards the sky, drawing our fingertips up towards the ceiling. Nice big exhale. We're going to take a little tuck of that arm underneath our opposite armpit, and we'll inhale to draw it right back up to the ceiling. Beautiful work. We'll take a couple sweeps here, just warming up through this little side tuck. Inhaling to stretch, exhaling as we tuck it underneath our opposite armpit. And last one, let's start it all the way underneath that opposite armpit, allowing our shoulder to come on down to the earth. We'll thread the needle here. We'll keep those glutes lifted. We're just giving ourselves a little stretch through the side body. When we're ready, let's press back into our 4-point position. And we'll stack those hands underneath our shoulders once again. And then we'll use our right hand. Inhaling to draw those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhaling to tuck it underneath our opposite armpit. Inhaling it up. And exhaling it down. Beautiful work. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And last one. Next time we trace that hand underneath our opposite armpit, let's let it go all the way down. Thread the needle completely. Dropping our shoulder on down to the earth. Taking that line of vision to look out over our outstretched palm. When we're ready, let's press back into our 4-point position. We'll bring those ankles together, widen the straddle of our knees, sit back onto our heels, and come on down into our child's pose. We can walk those hands out towards the tippy top of the mat, drawing our chest and head down to the earth. This is where we'll wrap up Pilates for today. I think this is a great time to thank ourselves, thank our bodies for the hard work they did for us in this class, the hard work they'll continue to do for us today, the hard work our bodies do for us every single day, how they allow us to show up for the things and the people that we care about. We can also thank ourselves for taking this time outside of our day, waking up bright and early to come be present and build that mind-muscle connection. Showing up for building our connection with our physical health. When we're ready, we can set an intention for the day ahead of us, how we wish to step out of this classroom into our day. What's an intention that we have for our actions today? When we're ready, we can inhale, drawing that intention deeper into our bodies and preparing us for the day as we walk our hands in towards our chest. That's going to wrap up Pilates for today. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for sharing the practice today. I will see you all next week. I hope you have a fabulous and very safe weekend. And yeah, I'll stick around for a couple minutes. If anybody's got any questions, comments, or suggestions, it's your class, so I want to make sure we're doing exactly what you want to do in this class.